This is Code Red.
Hey guys, you're listening to the Code Red podcast. I'm Shub,
And this is Parthib.
and this is the Manchester United podcast where we review games, tactics, and player ratings. Throughout the series, we'll also be looking at any club updates such as transfer news, any injuries to the squad, or any additions. Today, we're looking at Manchester United's 3-2 win over Liverpool in the fourth cup of the FA Cup.
Fourth round of the Cup. So,
Rough.
bit disappointment for Liverpool all around. They finally bagged the first goal of the year, 24 days in. And to lose to United, that's a bit just salt in the wound. So let's take a look at the lineup. So United were playing their normal 4-2-3-1. Dean Henderson in goal, Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire as the left and right backs. Left and right center backs. Luke Shaw on the left and Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right fullback. Then an unconventional midfield pairing of Scott McTominay and Paul Pogba as the holding midfielders. Donny van de Beek taking Bruno Fernandes' spot. Mason Greenwood coming in on the right, Marcus Rashford on the left, and Edison Cavani up front. On the other side of things with Liverpool, we had a 4-3-3 formation. Alisson in goal, Fabinho and Williams as the center backs, Robertson and Trent Alexander as the left and right back. Then Thiago Alcantara in the center of the pitch, James Milner on the left, Gini Wijnaldum on the right. Then up front, there was Roberto Firmino in the center, Mohamed Salah on the right, and Curtis Jones on the left. So now we're coming off their 2-1 win at Fulham, which was a bit of a trouble. And then obviously they drew 0-0 to Liverpool. So what do you think of the midfield pairing of McTominay and Pogba, and especially Donny van de Beek coming in for Bruno?
Yeah, obviously it was a very unorthodox kind of midfield pairing, and I mean, if there's any one player we'd expect to see on that starting 11, we'd see Bruno Fernandes. But yeah, Bruno hasn't had the best of games recently. I mean, he's still had some good assists and goals. Not to say that he's having a Jesse Lingard season, but like this past couple games, he just maybe it's been because he's overplayed or whatnot. I'm not sure, but I think he did deserve a rest, and I kind of like the Pogba McTominay pairing. I think it catered well to Liverpool's kind of constant high pressing. I think if we put Matic, then he would kind of get uh,
Overrun.
I yeah, over. He's not pacey. He's old, so he can't really like stick to his man or whatnot. So and Liverpool are very good at intricate passing and moving the ball around. And I think Fred would have worked too, Pogba and Fred, or but I think McTominay does provide more of a physical presence, which may have helped. But yeah, the main thing, obviously, Donny van de Beek instead of Bruno. It was interesting to see. I mean, he doesn't start against Fulham, but he starts against Liverpool in an elimination game. But I think he played well. He was able to create chances and whatnot. And obviously Bruno wasn't discouraged. Came off the bench, scored a peach of a free kick, which we'll get to
Yeah.
later. But yeah, I think I like the Donny van de Beek start. It gives me some hope that it wasn't to panic, but like there could be more of him in the future.
And I think also with Donny van de Beek and Mason Greenwood, especially coming in, is that their crossing has gotten a lot better. Obviously, we've seen, unfortunately, the miss header, but just in general, they're getting a lot
Mm-hmm.
more chances from the cross, which they weren't really able to do because Martial isn't the tallest and most physical of players, whereas we have Edison Cavani. I think that's one aspect of the game that has improved a lot. And with Mason Greenwood coming back, we obviously saw a lot more running at the strikers, although we wish he could have used his X button a bit better. He didn't want to pass it most of the times, but I mean, he got the goal and from a hell of a ball from Rashford. But I do think they were really sloppy in the first half. They gave way too many chances to Liverpool, like literally just giving them on a golden platter.
Yeah, when you're playing an all 95 plus rated Dream League team, that's kind of what happens. Your players just get caught in the midfield. But yeah, I think you're right. United obviously were sloppy. They were giving the ball away, and Liverpool. They were lucky that Liverpool weren't clinical of the chances they had. I remember, I think James Milner had like a clear chance and just skied it.
And then
Um,
Salah's one-on-one with, and then it
and
was kind of a
just
toe punt.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Yeah, United had some good chances themselves, but overall, they could have made more clear-cut chances if they were able to hold on to the ball in the midfield. And I guess it is a new pairing of McTominay and um, Mc- Pogba, and also just that Donny Van de Beek up top. But uh, yeah, I think if I like this pairing, I think if they can play together more often, then there might be less miscommunications, whatnot.
But I also do feel that they were counterattacking very quickly. I mean, Rashford's goal and Greenwood's goal both came off the counterattack. And Scott McTominay especially was really doing well pushing the ball forward, and Pogba was able to provide that stability in the back for him to run up. So I think that's also another positive that we can see from this midfield duo. And I think that sometimes maybe it's just Bruno wanting to get the ball more, but he does tend to drop pretty deep sometimes, and it kind
Yeah.
of like puts him pretty far away from the goal. I think maybe if they can get their distribution better, find better passes, make better off-ball runs, we won't have to resort to Bruno coming all the way back to pick up the ball and find passes here and there to get up front. So I think that's another thing that United could work on. But I
Yeah,
do
I
think,
think.
yeah,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Okay. I think, like even if we're talking about the nil-nil draw at Anfield, I think every United fan is thinking, okay, yeah, we're probably going to concede because based on how our defense is playing all season, it's been sloppy. We've given away cheap balls. But United have been playing very narrow defense. Like it's like very very tight. And they've occasionally they'll let a couple balls through, like Lindelof just kind
And
of got turned
yeah.
uh, by Salah. But I think overall they have improved, and I think that's kind of what will allow Bruno Fernandes to push up forward and not having to come back to regain possession. Because if that defense can kind of soak up that pressure and get the ball early, that'll just help their counterattacks a lot more. Um, so yeah, I think they have stepped it up, and if they can continue to do that, then United can be a real threat going forward.
Yeah, I think Harry Maguire, especially his distribution from out the back has actually been really good. Like he's able to hold on to the ball. He doesn't seem pressured. He doesn't like get the ball out or just kick it out randomly. Like he is able to hold the man off and find passes. And I think we did see him trying to do that at near the end of the last season. But I think it's really gotten better moving on. So hats off to him. But everyone else is like McTominay and I think Lindelof were giving away balls in the back, and Wan-Bissaka had to cover for them a couple of times here and there. So I think if they just like get less sloppy, because the second Salah goal came off just sloppy passing, and the first one is just completely not tracking his man. That's another thing. Victor Lindelof isn't that fast. Do you think Eric Bailly would have been able to stop that goal from happening?
Yeah, I think Eric Bailly, if there's three things he is better than Lindelof it's physicality, it's pace, and it's also IQ. I mean, the reason he's able to make those clutch dives and tackles is because he knows where the ball is going to be at the right time, and so he can get in front of it. He reacts very quickly. So I think Bailly would have probably seen that coming, and he would have probably gone to ground quicker to stop that. But yeah, I mean, Lindelof has stepped up this season. I don't want to say like that one era, so like just switch the two center backs. But I think there's an overall growth and confidence of this team, which is allowing them to like trust more. I think otherwise we always kind of saw them playing the safe balls. If it was playing at the back, they don't look forward. It's just passing amongst themselves and it's just clearing it in order to get it out. And I think they are growing more confident and they're able to play as a team better. And obviously, last season it was a very like there were a lot of new faces. Obviously, like Daniel James, Bruno Fernandes, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire. There were so many different players, and I think like just the last year kind of experience, kind of in a sense, allowed them to uh, play more fluently this season. So I think that's why this team, also with the competitive success they're having recently, I think that's why they're able to play better.
Yeah, and like as you're saying, they've been really searching for long balls, like we saw with the ball to Cavani against Fulham, was it, or Burnley? They're It was Burnley where Ben missed the
Oh,
ball. Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
Rashford assisted Greenwood. Like they're a lot more aware. They're not trying to just head down and run. They're looking up for the pass and it got them the goals both times. So I think that's another indicator of their confidence. And obviously sitting at the top of the table, like how could you not be like have a bit of swagger and confidence for that? So I think always doing his job. I think he's at the wheel at the moment. I'm saying he's not playing off vibes. I think he's got the tactics right. It's just fine tuning like a little things here and there. That's what's going to really cement them as maybe a title contender because they're first place, but like he's United title contender.
Yeah,
Not oh
there's a
yeah.
lot of things going. No. Like I agree with what you're saying, but I guess like we can just look at one performance and cement them as title contenders because
Okay, fair enough.
you look at last game, they concede to Fulham 5 minutes in. Okay, like that's not a title contending performance. No team concedes over the ball from their own midfield, and Wan-Bissaka playing him onside. Like there's a level of consistency which kind of certifies you as a um, like title contending team. I mean, Liverpool were doing so well, and then they grew inconsistent, which is kind of making them doubtful as title contenders. Um, but I guess the one thing that will really solidify them is their transition from midfield uh, to attack in like clear cut chances. How many times did we see United just throw away chances? Not just this game, but so many past games. Ever when they played Everton in the League Cup, they had like 4 or 5 chances and they didn't score from there in the first 20 minutes. And then today they were unlucky at times with Cavani's like header hitting the post, and then
Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood, he kind of tried to catch them off guard by shooting, which they were kind of expecting him to square it to Donny or Rashford. But I think like if they can really, make those final decision moments, and obviously Bruno has kind of elevated that aspect of their game, but if overall all of them, when they have the ball, those forwards, if they can really step it up, then I think United can be pretty lethal in attack.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you? Oh crap! Hold on. Whoops, where'd it go? So all of United's games since the Leeds match have been victories by a one goal. I'm sorry, the Everton match have just been all their victories have been 1 goal margins. Wolves 1-0, Villa 2-1, Watford 1-0, Burnley 1-0, Fulham 2-1, and then here 3-2. So like
Wow.
they've all their past games in about a month have just been 1 goal margin. So they're cutting it really close. Like how do you think like Ole can better cement like them as like a dominating force? Because in most of these matches, they were dominating parts of the match. They weren't dominating
Mm-hmm.
the whole match. But like, how do you think Ole should go about doing it, making sure like the whole 90 minutes is just United, United, United?
I think if you look at the teams they're playing, Aston Villa, who have been good this season, but like Fulham, Burnley, Watford, the reason why we're winning 1-0 or like 2-1 is because of late goals, because we've already broken down the defense and then we're able to finally get that last chance, which helps us win the game. Pogba's, last like what 70, 80th minute
Something like that. Yeah.
banger. And then against Burnley as well. Like it's late in the second half. I think if United can really push for that early goal, that doesn't allow teams to sit back. They have to really go for it because they can't get a point just by sitting back if they're already down a goal. And I think it's just constantly putting the pressure, and it can be it's a risk thing. If you're putting the pressure, you can get caught out, which is why I think United still need a bit of pace at the back. I think if they're going to play a higher line, if they're going to commit to attack. But I think overall, I think, yeah, United just, it's too close because of they're suffering from their own like mistakes in a sense. It's not like the other team, like Fulham did well defensively, but as title contenders and with how close this Premier League title race is, they have to win every match. They can't afford to drop points because that can change from first to all the way to fourth. Like they really need to, I think, solidify their early goal, and that's what's really going to help them.
Yeah, fair enough. In the last week and a half, there have actually been talks of Sergio Ramos to United.
Yeah.
It's there's talks about it, and like obviously there's always talks, but like this is kind of like this could be like we've always been talking about a new center back pairing, someone who's who has experience, who is commanding, who's like who knows he knows where he has to be. He's physical. He's good in the air. Like that's pretty much like what Harry Maguire isn't. Sergio Ramos. That's essentially I like. It's tough to say, but Sergio Ramos is leagues ahead of um,
It's not
any
tough
of
to
the
say.
United defenders. United defenders at the moment. Do you see it like actually happening? And if so, like what does this mean for United?
Um, it's a good question, and we've seen how this ends up. I mean, United spent a whole 7 months linked to Sancho for them to just not go for him. Um, would I want Sergio Ramos? Yes. I mean, he's a clinical, he's a great defender, and he's a leader. I think he could really command our back line, not just our back line, but overall the team, and develop a winning mentality with a team with so many young players. They kind of need someone to look forward to or look up to, like obviously class of 92 had Roy Keane, Scholes, Giggs, Beckham, all of them were so young. And then, Roy Keane helped instill that kind of high standard of no slack, work hard for every ball kind of mentality. United don't really, they're kind of growing into that. Like we see, when they go 1-0 down, the reaction is like, okay, we got to, step on it, try to get that goal back. We're already down. We need to push harder. And I think Ramos could help certify that. I think the question is, does Maguire stay captain if
that's gonna hurt for him. But I was looking online, and July 16th, 2015, United did agree terms
that
with
was my birthday.
Happy birthday then with Real Madrid, which obviously didn't go through because he's still there. So it's a long shot. It's a very long shot, but like if it does happen, then I can say with like 75% confidence that United are title contenders. Like if they have a player like Ramos, someone world class, then yeah, I can say that because at the moment Bruno's world class. Like we cannot deny that, but he's not one of those like up there players like Mbappe, Neymar, Suarez, Ronaldo, Messi. He's still getting there. I'm not saying he isn't, but he's still getting there.
Yeah.
I think United really lacks someone like that because we always had players like Wayne Rooney, Van Persie, Ruud van Nistelrooy, but we've been kind of missing that world class players for quite some time now. Pogba's, you can make an argument for it, but yeah, I think they need someone like that. It's kind of like the same thing with MLS. Like MLS teams have been, you can't really win a league without a European player. And I think that's what's kind of what United need. Because look at these last couple of years, Liverpool, they got Mo Salah, Firmino was good better back then, and Sadio Mane. Like they have a world class strike force, and I think that's what United is really missing. But I also think Paul Pogba has been stellar these past few weeks.
Yeah. I think we kind of talked about how United can be great on its day, and then they can be actually terrible on another day. We see how inconsistent they are. I mean, we saw last season they'll beat City 2-0 and absolutely dominate, and then the next game they'll drop points to a relegation team. I mean, United, we've seen, like before the game, it's okay, which United is showing up. It's a big, good cop, bad cop kind of scenario. And I think consistency, I probably say this like 10 times every episode. But if United can build a consistent and winning mentality, like Pogba, obviously he's given more freedom to do what he wants, and we're kind of seeing more glimpses of him. Like Martial, he had 3 assists against Leeds, which was like a masterclass. And then the rest of the season, it's just been missing chances and staring up at the sky. But I think, as you said, like if United can, if they can, I don't know how to say this exactly, but if they can really, believe in themselves, stay confident, and place high standards on themselves, then yeah, I think they can be a title contending team.
Yeah. And just to talk about the gush about the Bruno free kick, man,
Oh,
that was insane.
woo!
I didn't expect him to go far post, but I guess that was also a mistake on Allison's part. He wasn't covering the far post as well as he should have been. But man, that was a peach of a free kick. I was half expecting him to sky it, but I started screen recording on my phone just to just in the in the hopes that he does score. And well, I guess he did. But yeah, that was oh man, like that that's a free kick taker. That's like I can't say much about it, but holy shit, it was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we have gone from Rashford hitting senior citizens in the top stands to Bruno winning games against Liverpool. But yeah, I mean, Pogba had a good shot. It just went a bit wide of the post earlier. But yeah, I think United. I was just laughing at that long range pen.
The long range pen. Oh
um,
man, we're still waiting for the 90th minute penalty against Liverpool.
yeah, just rival fans would gotta fill out rival fans' tears. But yeah, I think obviously, like just looking at the impact he made off the bench, United could have probably sealed the game in those last 20, 30 minutes when he came
Yeah,
on. I
20
mean,
minutes. Yeah.
Cavani had the header which hit the post, and I guess it's just that creativity. I think Bruno Cavani's they could form a really good partnership because Bruno is so creative and Cavani's off ball runs. I think that's clearly what United have been missing. The way he generates space. I don't think Rashford or Martial would have seen that opportunity to go for that header. Like they would have probably just cut in and then try to stay on the outside of the box where they feel more comfortable. But I think with Cavani, he trusts his physicality more. And um, I mean, if United get really creative, we saw in the restart how creative they were. I mean, they were making exceptional passes and scoring easy goals and also good ones as well. But I think if Cavani can mentor these younger forwards to recognize and adapt to these situations, I think uh, he it'll be a massive impact.
Yeah. So speaking about the defense, Alex Telles is a kind of a consistent feature for FA Cup matches, and obviously we've seen since he's arrived, Luke Shaw has actually been putting in some great performances, especially today down the left flank. When Bruno wasn't there, he was providing a lot of width and crosses from that left side. So, what do you think this means for Alex Telles' future?
I mean, Alex Telles is older than Luke Shaw by a couple of years, but they both mentioned how they both kind of push each other in training, and it's kind of we kind of see how competition can help a player, I guess. Like drives them to work harder, play better. Like we kind of saw with when Mason Greenwood kind of came into that squad. Rashford started putting in more, and Martial started putting more in that restart. And I think, Luke Shaw has been quite phenomenal. I think this past month, kind of, he's been he pocketed Salah once, not today,
Not today.
but in the at Anfield he pocketed him.
And Traore.
Yeah, which is it's kind of hard to do when you have
Yeah.
when they have the Hulk running at you. But I'm gonna be honest. I had my doubts about Luke Shaw. I mean, he's quite injury prone. I mean, this season, luckily, knock on wood, he hasn't been injured. But I think Tellers was a safe option, and it's kind of getting the better of Luke Shaw. So I don't really see, how he can kind of integrate both, because obviously they play the same positions. He can't play two left backs at the same time. But squad rotation does help, and sometimes getting benched, like how it did to Bruno, kind of ignites a spark. So maybe if one's in bad form, then the other one picks up.
You want to move on to player ratings?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, why did I leave that? So, okay. So, my defense, I'm gonna give. Okay. So, Dean Henderson 6, six and a half. Juan Bissaka 6. Victor Lindelof 5.5. Harry Maguire 6.5. Luke Shaw 7. So Dean Henderson couldn't really do much about that Salah. Either Salah
Mhm.
goals. Salah's just a clinical finish, but he did have that one save against Salah. um, kind of an easy save, but then also the other save when that one volley on the right side. I can't remember who
Oh,
it
Trent
was from.
Alexander-Arnold.
Right. So yeah, he had some good saves, and I think his distribution is looking better. Not better than De Gea, but it is looking quite good. Like he's able to start them out from the back. So I think just keeping that up, and I think he's putting in some good games for United. Hopefully, could be a replacement for De Gea going in the long run.
Mhm.
Wan-Bissaka, I think he did have some nice tackles, but just not getting up forward as much. I think that also has to do in part with how involved Mason Greenwood was today, and I think that's a sign for things to come, maybe because Mason has been quite quiet today. But I think just getting more involved down the pitch. Um, he had some moments on the right side, but it's not enough as we would have hoped. Victor Lindelof, I think still think Eric Bailly might be the go-to man for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment in time. We don't know how he's going to fare in the long run as for his injuries, but obviously not being able to track that Salah run and just sloppy passes here and there. I think that's what's really killing United. They just have to work on that, and especially Victor Lindelof. Harry Maguire, I think he's been improving really well at his time in United. We can't really make too much fun of him, although we do like to poke fun. I think his distribution is getting supremely better than we saw last year, and he's not getting caught out on the edge of the box, nutmegged. So that's obviously positive to see. Just a lot more commanding. That's all we ask for him. I think really he could be much better than he is right now.
Is the
There's a
bug
bug.
back?
It's back. Um, Luke Shaw, I think he had a great game today, putting down a lot of. He's really spreading Liverpool's defense wide, getting some good balls in, and providing some support for Rashford. So I think more performance from that. That's all we want to see. How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna give Dino 5.5. I think he made some clinical saves, but obviously conceding two. Even though they weren't his fault, it's kind of hard to consider. Wan Bissaka, I'll give a 6. I think he did make some good tackles. Although I would kind of like to see him push forward a bit more. He was kind of, stagnant at times. Lindelof, I'm going to give a 5.5. I think, yeah, he got turned by Salah so badly. He didn't even read that properly. But I think he still had some glimpses, and he was a bit more stable, I guess. Maguire, I'm going to give a 7. I think he had a good game. He was able to push forward as well. Still waiting for a header to go in.
Yeah.
Not just bonk off his head. And then Luke Shaw will still also give a 7. I think he was great going forward. He's really stepped it up. I think if there is a most improved player of the year, I think I'd give it to Luke Shaw as of now.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, Luke Shaw he's been better than what we've seen before. Scott
Getting
McTominay,
dragged down by
I think Mason would be the opposite spectrum of that.
yeah, just
Yep. So as for the midfield, Scott McTominay 6, Pogba 7, Mason Greenwood 6 and 7, Rashford 7.5. I just have to for my boy. I think Donnie's 6.5. So yeah, McTominay, as we said before, really able to push the ball up, providing that physical aspect that Matic kind of lacks because of his old age. Sorry about that, and especially with Fred, considering how much of a smaller frame he has.
Yeah.
I think his passing really needs to improve. That's all. I think, like, especially from Pogba. Pogba's a great passer. Like we don't really see much of it. Him being creative, but his Juve days, he could pick a pass really well. I think he can learn from Pogba. So hopefully we can see more of that. Paul Pogba, he's been playing really, really well. And I think like after the post-match interview after Fulham, he was saying like he likes to win, and like we see that like every player likes to win, but Pogba's like it was obvious from that interview like he has a drive in him, like he has to prove the haters wrong, as one would say. But I think it just getting more goals, more assists, more good performances, we can really see the Juve Paul Pogba, or the France 2018 Pogba. So I think
Yeah.
that's what we want to see. And obviously getting that starting off the I think it was Rashford's goal, getting the tackle and the in his defense and getting the
Yeah,
it
Mason's
was
goal.
yeah. No, it's
Rashford's
Marcus.
assist.
Yeah,
No,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Mason's goal, starting the tag off from there. So yeah, I think Paul Pogba's been doing very well. Greenwood obviously getting his getting a goal after quite a while. Was running at the defense quite well. It just has to be a lot more has to be a lot less selfish. And I
Yeah.
think just just being a bit more aware of the passes instead of just thinking he can do everything himself, kind of like what you're saying about Bruno. So yeah, I think that's what we can improve on. But still a goal and assist from him, nothing to take away from that. Marcus Rashford, my boy,
My boy
getting on
last
this
season.
yeah, getting on the getting on the goal sheet, and then also getting the assist for Mason Greenwood. So he's just been good. He's been so good, and I love to
Yeah.
see him play. Um, I do think that his crosses aren't as great as Bruno's and Luke Shaw's. I'd say Luke Shaw's a better crosser than him. So I think
Mhm.
maybe if we can see an improvement there from him, more assists to Cavani and more fantasy points for me. Donny van de Beek, uh, it was a surprise seeing him this morning, but I think what he provided there in the first however long he was on, I can't remember. It was positive, and I think it's not the greatest thing. It's not Bruno-esque, but it's positive, and hopefully we can see more of that. So yeah, that's my ratings for the midfield.
Yeah. McTominay, I'll give a 6. I think he did well to push forward. I think he could have but he did lose possession quite a bit, which kind of took away from that. Pogba, I'll give a 7. I think he was able to hold possession not only in his own midfield, but when they gained back possession in Liverpool's half, then he was able to hold it until he could find a good stable pass. Donny van de Beek, I'll give us. I think obviously big match starting for him. It's kind of a surprise, but I guess he did well, create some good chances, had some good off-ball runs. I think he could have been better going forward. Like when was it? Was it Watford where he had that like back heel pass to Juan Mata or something? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, it was in the FA Cup, last FA Cup
FA Cup
match.
Watford, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we saw more of like that kind of being more creative, I think he played more defensive. I don't know if it was Ole's tactics to soak in the pressure and then just let Marcus and Mason kind of go over the top. But I guess compared to Bruno, he was a lot more behind. So I think that was kind of interesting to see. Marcus, I'm going to give an 8. He's my man of the match. I think obviously goal, assist, but so many chances just running down the flanks. Obviously, we always give bonus points for shoulder
Shoulder
drops by
drops.
Rashi. Shoulder drops presented to you by Rashi. But I think he was able to pick out a couple of good passes, but not crosses, but he was able to push the ball forward a bit. And yeah, Mason, I'm going to give a 7. I think obviously goal, assist, but yeah, I think his decision making could have been a bit better and maybe, solidify the game a bit earlier because it was quite a close game.
Yeah. Cavani, I think 7. Yeah, 7. Like I was saying, I think it was the episode before, or the episode before last. What he brings to United, I think, is greater than Ibra. I think he's really able to, yeah, not like in the sense in the long run, like I said before. Like
Oh, okay.
he's
Yeah.
not in the moment because Ibra is just too much of a beast. But like his off ball runs, his spatial awareness, his just know how about the sport, and especially like the poacher kind of play,
Mhm.
he can really like help these youngsters. I think just he getting noticing that Bruno was there ready to make the pass and getting in the box. Like I think that's not really what Greenwood or Rashford can do because they're just very go straight at goal, don't really get any help, just go for it yourself kind of guy. So I think that's something like great he brings to the table. I think it's uh, a really good transfer considering that he was a free transfer as well. I think
Yeah.
he's miles ahead of Odion Igalo in terms of goal scoring aptitude and uh, and just experience. So yeah, I think good game from him. Unlucky to get on the score sheet, but I think probably after Bruno, one of the better signings in these last couple of years.
Yeah, obviously, kind of uplifting the number 7 curse United has had. I think he's scored more than the past 3 number
Who in the
7s
past 3
combined or
years?
something. Sanchez, Di
Depay.
Maria. No, I think Depay might have been. Oh
Depay came
no,
after Di Maria
yeah,
because Di Maria
it's
is
Falcao.
2015.
Is it Falcao?
I can't. Falcao.
I think Sanchez is obviously the most recent one. I think it was
Falcao was. Oh, that's for Galatasaray.
he was in 2015. I think Falcao or 16, 15. I don't remember.
No, he came. Him and Di Maria came at the same time, right?
Oh no, but they can't be both number 7, right?
Yeah, I know for a fact Di Maria was number 7.
Yeah. I think it was Sanchez, Di Maria, and Falcao. I think Depay came earlier than.
No, Depay was in 2016. Yeah, Depay
I
was in
don't know.
2016. He moved to 2015 to 2017. Okay. Oh, he was better. He's better than most of the number 7s we've had since
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
that's true. That's true. He wasn't as bad as like as noticeable as like Di Maria and
Yeah.
Falcao. But yeah, I think Cavani, I'll give him a as well. I think he's I think you look at Cavani's chances. I mean, he slots in a goal against Fulham from like 6 yards out or something, and then he had like a free header. And then you see Mason's goal, which is like an over the top ball from
Yeah.
Rashford, and then he has to like chest it and then like slot it in bottom left from outside. Well, Robertson is screaming in his face.
I saw that on the replay. It's like, what the hell is he doing?
That's something I would do though.
Yeah. It's like in cricket when they're bowling, like they're just yelling.
Sledging, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if he can help these forwards get into easy poacher positions, and finishing is hard, but it's a lot easier when you're a couple yards out from the goal. I think it was a Sheffield game last season in the restart when we won 3-0, but Rashford had he assisted Martial, who had just a quick tap in, and then Rashford had like an easy
Yeah, he
goal,
missed.
and then
He
he
missed
just
that
botched it. So I
completely.
think if United can get more of those chances, I think Cavani will help with that. I think through off-ball runs, but also just getting into the right place at the right time. I think that's what Cavani does best, and I think he could be a real influence for the long term, as you said, on this team.
So, what does this mean for Liverpool? Because they haven't won a league match this year yet. They've just been humiliated by a United 3-2. Who do they have
I
next?
think
They've
did they play
Spurs. They're playing
Spurs,
Spurs on
right? Yeah.
Thursday. And to be fair, Spurs have also been on
Imagine
the down.
imagine playing Thursday nights. No, I'm kidding. United haven't had their Thursday nights yet. I
Not
think we're
yet.
playing Real Sociedad in a couple of weeks. Um, well, I mean, to be fair, United lost 2-0 to Burnley at home, and then they lost 2-0 to Anfield, and then big boy Bruno gets signed, right? So January was a tough time, and as many times as Ole's job has been on the line, his job was on the line in that
Yeah.
January. um, I mean, I was just sitting watching, and then I see uh, Ashley Barnes or something. I don't even remember who just slots in a goal, and I was like, yeah, United is just it's never gonna happen. But I think it has been a bit inconsistent. But I think if Liverpool just I mean, Salah has been injured, right? I think that's kind of why their attack has been a bit depleted.
Well, he's
Um,
back now, but he was on the bench for the match against Burnley.
oh yeah, so I mean, I trust Liverpool. I think it's just a bit of a fluke. Kind
Just a
of
dry
couple
run.
of games. Yeah, like a dry run of it. Spurs though. I don't know. I don't know. They look confident. I mean, they did well against Marine FC or something. And yeah,
They did draw to Fulham 1-1, but they beat Sheffield
Sheffield 3-1,
3-1.
right?
Oh, I mean
Yeah.
Sheffield.
Yeah, I mean United almost lost those. But I think I don't even know. I think a draw would be ideal for United, obviously. But I think Liverpool will beat Spurs. Liverpool they're a good team. They'll come
Yeah.
back. As much as I hate to say it, they'll come
Yeah,
back.
I hate it. Yeah, but then City on the other hand, they have been on a good run of form. The defense has been really piling up with, especially with John Stones. Man, he's been insane. This is probably one of his best years so far, and they've bagged 5 wins in their last 5 games. And they've got a game in hand, so they can if they can go up there, if they win their next game, they're ahead of United by 1 point. So now that Kevin De Bruyne is out,
Yeah.
they do have to. It seems like they're probably going to be playing midfield pairing of probably Ferran Torres, Gundogan, and Fernandinho, or like even Foden. So they are missing a lot of creativity there. So that could be good for United. Maybe making some more distance between them in second place. But yeah, it's like they're on edge. They're so close to the edge. Like it's pretty funny just thinking about it, not scary at the same time. So I think they just have to keep their heads down and just keep winning games. And
Yeah.
they do. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I mean, you look at Manchester City, and Kevin De Bruyne is out for a couple of weeks. I see. Maybe, yeah, as you said, Fernandinho or maybe Rodri, and then you have like Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and like a midfield of a 4-3-3. And you look at United, Bruno goes out.
Oh,
I
then
mean,
they're screwed.
yeah, we're screwed. So as much as it's happy days, I think you have to look at it in the whole picture.
In
United
the
are
long
kind of
run.
we're getting lucky with injuries, that we're not getting like major
Yeah.
injuries. I mean, obviously Pogba was like out like most of the season last year, but um, if United lost, I think even Cavani, if he went injured, uh, I mean, our attack would be kind of depleted. Not as much of a drop off if Bruno was injured. But I think United need to take advantage of this opportunity. I mean, if City are going to somehow drop points, if all of these teams are going to drop points, United need to take advantage of this opportunity. And if they can, I hope they continue their good run of games. Because obviously these other teams are going to have Champions League, and City. Has City played Spurs yet in the final of the League Cup? I don't think so.
So,
I don't think they have.
no, they're playing them. Oh, they're playing them in April.
Oh, April. That's long.
Yeah, so it's a way whiles away.
Wow, April. Wow. Okay. That's like more than 2 months.
Yeah, doesn't care about like near the end. That's what I always thought.
But like, why have the quarterfinal and then the semifinal like 2 weeks away, and then have the
COVID and
final like
stuff,
2 months away? I mean, I don't put these fixtures. But yeah, I think United, they don't have Champions League to focus. They don't have League Cup. They have Europa League, so it's easier fixtures. So they need to focus on the Premier League and really win this.
Yeah, they do have Sheffield coming up after that, but after Sheffield,
Right.
there's a pretty long run of games. They've got Sheffield on the 27th, then Arsenal on the 30th, then Southampton on the 2nd, Everton on the 8th, and then West Ham on the 10th. Like they barely have 2 to 3 days of rest in between, so it's going to be pretty hard. But Sheffield, I do think they can maybe get away with playing like a similar starting lineup, maybe giving Bruno even more rest, maybe starting
Yeah.
Donny van de Beek, and I think going back to Fred McTominay, even considering resting
I think putting
Pogba.
Matic, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe even putting in Daniel James
Yeah.
versing Martial. I mean, not Martial, Rashford, but they
Mm,
don't want to
Rashi.
get too. They don't want to get too comfortable with all the
Oh yeah.
changes.
Speaking of which, Rashi does have a knee thing.
He has. I think it's a
He's gonna have a
leg.
scan. He's gonna have a scan tomorrow. But yeah, he was just feeling a bit of pain, so he went down the tunnel. So
Yeah.
that's a bit concerning.
She should be back today. Is the 24th. Yeah, so he has 6 days before the Arsenal game. I think he'll be fine before then. But it's a tough this next month or two. It's gonna month actually. After that, it kind
Yeah.
of settles down. It's gonna be pretty tough for United, and I think if they can make it through this month, I think it's happy days for them. But as far as predictions, we were pretty far off. You said 1-0
1-0.
United. I said 1-1 and Liverpool takes it in penalties. I don't think any of us really saw this coming. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about Sheffield United?
I'm gonna go for my classic 3-0 prediction. I think because it's Sheffield. I mean, they aren't as defensively stable as they were last season. And I think Mason will bag a goal, hopefully. Bag a goal or assist. But I want to see Mason play more. Isn't that a given though?
Huh?
Isn't that a given that I want to see Mason play
Yeah,
more?
of course.
What's
It's if it was a given, you would have kept him on your fantasy team.
Well, yeah, that's why I want him to play more so I can pick him up on my fantasy team. Yeah, what's your?
I think it's gonna be a return to our very first episode, a 3-1 win.
3-0.
3-1. It was 3-1.
3-0. Martial scored the hat trick.
I swear they scored 1 goal.
No.
Oh, shit. Okay. I forgot. Yeah, okay, 3-1. 3. It's close enough. 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, or I don't know. United have been good with by 3-0 doesn't sound out of the question to be fair, but we can't have the same.
It's United. We can't tell. I mean, it depends on how many chances they put to bed.
Bailly is probably going to be playing because it's so close to. He's probably going to give Lindelof a rest. 3-1. I think it's still going to be 3-1. They're going to find some way to muck up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, speaking of the cameo part of Barcelona, Scarface
Shut up.
back on the wall.
God damn it. It was not against my own will. It was against my own will that it was put up. So it'll stay there until Barca draw Bayern again in the semifinals, if we even make it that far. But I mean, they had a good game against Elche today. Ricky Puig scored a goal, which is nice to see. I mean, that's what you get for actually playing him. And Griezmann didn't score today, but he was also playing quite well as Frankie de Jong got another goal for himself. So I mean, it's looking up for Barca. Hopefully, if Ansu Fati comes back, I'm definitely gonna win the bet against you.
Kind of need Mason to step it up.
But I think, they're really missing Fati, and I don't think Martin Brathwaite's really cutting it. And not to mention, they missed 2 penalties. They missed 2 penalties in open play, not against Elche, but in the second to last round of the Supercopa. Before, I can't remember who they played, but yeah. But I think it's kind of easy to see who the meme team of the week is.
Who is it?
Madrid.
Oh. What did they do? Oh, did they lose?
They got knocked out of the FA Cup by a 3rd division team.
I thought they won.
Not FA Cup. Not FA Cup.
Real Madrid moves to England. Okay.
Copa del Rey.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and not to mention that they lost the Supercopa de España 2-1. Got knocked out in the semifinals by Bilbao. So let's look at this, okay? Alcoyano, 3rd division team of Spain. Can you guess what their budget is? Like their entire team's budget?
10 million? 5.
$700,000. $700,000.
No.
Their goalkeepers at the ripe age of 41.
41.
They have a bunch of no names. Oh, they have what the?
Who do they have?
Oh wait, no,
Which old do they have?
El Ghazouani just looked really
Oh,
close
El
to.
Ghazi?
Yeah, it just looked really close to his name, but it wasn't. They have a
Did they
bunch
play
of
for
no-named guys.
Okay.
And they got a player sent off in the 110th minute, only to score in the 115th and win the game versus a team of who did they bring on from off the bench? They bought on Eden Hazard, Tony Kroos, Karim Benzema, and Marco Asensio. Just get knocked out by Alcoyano, who they've never heard of. Where are they sitting in their own league?
What league are they part of?
It doesn't. The Google doesn't even have the league saying Division B.
I mean, to be fair, Liverpool lost to Burnley, and Google didn't even know Burnley's logo. It was just gray.
They're oh wow, they have a funky. So they have groups that are separated. Holy crap! There's so many teams. I have to. Alcoyano. Oh, they're seeing third in their own respective group. Okay, that's kind
That's
of a
whack.
funky. Yeah, and it's probably because it's so low. They have just all the teams just festered there. So yeah, I think who would you have said was the meme team of the week?
I'm not sure about like meme team, but I guess if there's a meme player, it'd be Timo Werner. He's just been missing chances, and he missed a penalty today
Maybe they
against
should.
Luton Town.
They should have just stuck with Timo. I mean, not Timo. Sorry.
No, Tammy.
Tammy.
Tammy scored a hat trick today.
Yeah, I know he's been so good, and he was good off the bench last season as well. I don't know. Timo Werner was obviously looking very good, but Leipzig are very good at their business dealings.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Maguire was a robbery, but I think I think Werner's arguably a bigger robbery. I mean, Maguire's still Timo Werner needs another season though to step it up.
You don't ever know. I mean, there have been so many flops in the Premier League, just players who couldn't make it. Maybe he'll go to PSG and revitalize his career, but
oh yeah,
we'll
I mean,
see.
I know Luka Jovic. Yeah, I had a hell of a season for Frankfurt, and then goes to Real, who can't score for his life. Goes to loan, and in like the first game, he scores like 2 goals or something for Frankfurt again.
I do want to say, Schalke, they did finally win a game after God knows how long. That was on the 9th, and Matthew Hopp, American kid, 19 years old, scores a hat trick, a Bundesliga hat trick against Hoffenheim to get Schalke their first win. Scores another goal against Frankfurt, even though they lose 3-1. Yeah. Scores against Köln 2-1, but they lost to Bayern 4-0 today. But like he's been fire hot, 5 goals in 4 games for. I mean, Christian Pulisic, like he can get the hell out of the squad. Just kidding. But yeah, Pulisic has been pretty dire.
There's a new Captain America.
Yeah, it looks like it, to be fair. Yeah, but that was our coverage of the 3-2 win in the 4th round of the FA Cup over Liverpool. So the next match is on the 27th against Sheffield United. I've gone for 3-1. Ship's gone for 3-0. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around later.